Hi, and welcome back to meetrabbits.org. I'm kind of backtracking a little bit here, doing an intro that I'm going to tack into the video because things went just a little bit sideways this morning, and the video that I had planned to bring you, which was weighing in the Champagne to Argent kits, kind of got bumped in lieu of a more pressing situation. So what was the situation? Well, I had two does kindle last night. We had Yarrow up here and Dandelion down here. Unfortunately, everything was not as smooth as it should have been. When I came in, Dandelion's kits were, 4 of them were in the front of the nest, 5 of them in the back, 1 very weak, and I could actually hear, which normally you will not hear, I could actually hear cries of distress, which told me that kit was probably on its way out. And then 4 in there that were okay, not great, but pretty cold. So what transpires here in the following piece together videos, and I do apologize that it's on the fly, but this is life sometimes with livestock. Sometimes things have to happen on the fly, so it's a little bit pieced together as I dealt with the situation. I will also tell you it's not the funnest video you're gonna watch that I've ever put out with these cuties, but here's a cute rabbit to help you along. Little set of cuties in there. But it's important information. What we have here is working through trying to warm and save those kits. So, you know, not all fun stuff to watch, and it could be upsetting. So if it is upsetting for you, you might want to consider that before you continue to watch. But I think it's really important information for anyone out there who's keeping meat rabbits, to see how these things sometimes go as well, and I hope that it's helpful to you. So before we get going, I'm going to say that, you know, as an informational resource, please like, share, subscribe the videos, and I'm gonna actually get out of here and let Dandelion do her thing with her kits that I've just given back to her. It's not all good news, guys, but it's not all bad news either. And I'm gonna come on up here, say a quick hi to Yarrow, and I'm gonna move on and get into the videos from today. Thanks for being here, and I hope this helps some of you too. Playing a bit of the nursemaid this morning. I had the 2 does kindle last night, and these are both proven does, but oddly enough, this nest looks fine. I did bring it in the house to check it out, but the other one, it's kind of half and half and cold, and some fur pulled, not a ton. There were 4 kits in the front of the nest box about here, others in the back. Like I said, some fur, not a ton. 1 or 2 of them feels decently warm, and the rest all feel pretty cold. So I am, at the moment, I have the ones that perked up and warmed up when I brought them in and seemed to do okay. I've got them in the nest box in the other room with some extra cotton balls. And then I just ran out and grabbed this one to see what the situation was with this set, and they're a litter of 8. Could have had more fur pulled. Honestly, I don't know if this is a result of the mothers or this insane weather we're having where the mothers aren't sure how much fur they need. They're proven does, but I think this is, if I remember off the top of my head, probably only their probably 3rd litter. So I'm gonna let these guys work their way back in here. I'm gonna actually take these back out because she seems like she did fine with them. There's a little condensation at the top of that box, which I don't love. But you know, we've had this crazy warm weather, ups and downs, 60s by the weekend. We're gonna be a high of 25 with a low of 5 overnight. And again, I keep saying it, like that weather's fine, but that weather's not fine when they don't know what to do with it. Just make sure everyone gets tucked in. I'm gonna actually, when I go back outside, throw out, there's some bloody material here. I'll throw that out, and I'll just keeping a good check on them during the day. And check, see if we can see what's going on here. Here's my nest box next to my radiator. with 4 that seem okay. I've got these guys doubled in a bowl. I did have them in the plastic bag method, but I needed to be able to run out and check those others. I know there's one in here that's still squeaking. So I've got this doubled in a bowl of water, seating on my radiator for a minute while I was taking care of those others. I put the water inside about 101. You could go just slightly higher than that, but try not to burn them. But 101 is about the body temp. So that's what we're looking for. See, this is a Californian crossed with a Champagne d'Argent. What I'm looking for is to see if there is blood in the toes, which I don't. It's a little hard to see on the darker ones. It's definitely cold to the touch. I'm gonna stop videoing because I need to deal with these guys and see who I can save and salvage. The blood in the toes is a sure sign of death, and up until that point, they're worth continuing to keep safe. So I'm gonna keep going on that, and I will update you at some point later. So I've got 5 of these little guys in the bags in the warm water. Did take a temperature, also dropped my thermometer in the water, so I think it might be registering a little off, but try to keep this around and maybe slightly above 101. You know, a little for the heat transfer. And then the plastic bags, they're a little bit, I don't know, I find them a little bit cumbersome myself, just because you got to be really careful to also not be suffocating them with their nose down in the plastic. Important to keep the bag open while you do this. Warm water, the thing is, they can't get wet, you know, that's no good for them either. That's going to cool them off as soon as you take them out. And I'm going to give them up to about 15 minutes, and hopefully, I know one of them was very weak and cool when I put it in there, but was alive. One of them looked like it probably had the beginnings of some blood in its nails. I'm going to try it anyway because I'm going through this. And the rest of them, I didn't notice blood in the nails yet. Like I said, it's a little hard to tell because they're dark skinned anyway, but it didn't seem like there was blood in the nails yet. And I'm gonna give this about 15 minutes and see if we can warm them up. I am gonna turn the bags and then readjust, make sure their noses are up so that they can be breathing, so that both sides of the body warm, and hopefully we can save this. I think those other 4 are probably gonna be okay. Hopeful that at least one out of this pack is gonna be okay. Not a fun way to start my morning. Not what I had planned, but this is what we go through when we keep livestock. I did check out that other nest box. They all look fine. So that was from the other doe, two does bred. Both good sized litters. This was a Champagne d'Argent Californian cross. I don't think that has any bearing on the situation. I think the bearing is the situation of the mothers being okay, but a little bit So I know, sad, not nice to look at, and I'll let you know how it goes. I don't have really high hopes. I have only attempted this one other time before. It's a little bit of an awkward maneuver, but it's better than trying nothing at all. So we'll see how this goes. I'll check in later. It's been about 15 minutes. I'm not seeing really signs of life in these. I guess about 10 minutes. I'm going to give them this one last ditch effort. I've got them on my radiator, which is very warm and has this marble stone, so that'll help transfer some heat. I've got the bowl on the radiator, them on a face cloth, covered on the top. Made sure all my pets are outside, so that won't be a problem. I'll make sure my husband knows so that he doesn't let any of them in, which he's not apt to do anyway. And we'll see, but you know, this is a last ditch effort. I really don't have high hopes. I don't think I'm going to get any of these 5 to survive. I do have the other 4 in the nest box shelved in the dining room, close to a heater but not on it, and just to give everything a chance to warm up there, and then I will take them back out because, you know, their best chance is with their mother, and they are going to need to get fed. So we'll just continue to see how this goes. This is the downside of meat rabbit raising, and you know, I don't want to give the impression that things go wrong all the time, but sometimes they do go wrong. And when they do, you manage and respond as best you can, which is what I'm doing now. And like I said, we'll see what the end result is, but unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be able to save any of these, but I am happy that the other 8 look fine from the other litter, and the 4, I think they'll be okay. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll let you know the end result. Okay, guys, not that it's nice to keep looking at young kits that have passed away, but again, this is a reality if you are raising rabbits, for most of us, if not all of us, at some point. So there is a saying in the rabbit community, and it is that they're not dead until they're warm and dead. And it is, I've been working on this for about an hour now. They are warm to the touch. And I've looked over the bodies and I've checked the toes, and I'm not sure if you're gonna see this on the camera or not. If you look at the underside of the toes, you see kind of dark dots, and that is the blood pooling in the toes. It may be a little more obvious. I know this is not something that's particularly nice to look at, but it's informative. You know, this is something that we should all know. I think you can probably see it. See there, the black tips. These were pretty clear, pretty white when they started, and you can see there that definite dark tips in the nails, and that is pooled blood, which means their circulation is done, and these kits have unfortunately not made it. So, you know, sad state of affairs, but it happens. I am going to go into the other room and check on those other kits. I just put my hand in there a second ago, and it feels warm in the nest, and I think that they're gonna be okay. And I'm about ready to take them back outside. I think they just needed a little bit of a boost getting the temperature up in the nest. Their body heat was just a little too cold. And now that the temperature's up, you know, it feels, you can tell when you put your bare hand in there, this feels warm to me, and that's how it should feel. So I think these guys are gonna be good to go. Let's see what we've got. Can hear them squeaking and responding and moving. Much better situation, huh? That's what we're going for. The other box is back in with the mother. That looked fine. I think it just needed a little boost of fur. Again, is this because of the mothers? Probably very well could be. I do think that these two have both always pulled fur, but I always would have loved to have seen them pull more fur. And I do think that I've had to give them cotton balls in the past, but I'm not convinced that this up and down weather isn't messing with everybody's mind. You know, we were almost 60 degrees yesterday, so they usually respond pretty quickly, but you see, these guys look good. They're good. I feel good about the warmth of the nest. I think they're gonna be just fine. And now they'll be able to moderate with the materials. They'll come up and down as they need to. Get them back out there for her. So there we have it. Now, this also begs a little bit of a question. What do you do with those kits that didn't make it? So another not fun topic, but a topic that we probably should talk a little bit about. You do have some options, actually, and one of the better ones that might make you feel better about things is to actually bag those up and freeze them. Yes, I have had my children come in and say, Mom, why do we have dead rabbit kits in the freezer? And the reason is because if you have a local wildlife rescue that, say, like rescues something like owls or something, or birds of prey, they can often use those as feed for them. So, you know, you can take a not great situation and maybe turn it into something good. I don't have an active rescue that will be taking these within a close time frame, so I am going to take them out to the woods and feed the vultures, and it's unfortunate, but wildlife and vultures have to eat too, so circle of life, we will continue on there. So that's the experience, not the video that I intended to bring you today. Today I was going to weigh the champagne kits for a 10-week weigh-in, but we will do that tomorrow. And though this was a somewhat sadder video. I hope that it helps, and maybe, you know, if you're in a similar situation, maybe this shows you how you could possibly warm the kits and maybe save yours. So, you know, all in all, I want to say again, it can seem like sometimes that things always go wrong with meat rabbits, and really it does not. Over all the different types of livestock I've had in my life, I would say that I have the least issues and least losses with the meat rabbits. But I also think you're playing with a numbers game here. Meat rabbits are breeding much more prolifically than a lot of other types of livestock. So, you know, a cow's going to have 1 calf in a year, and rabbits are going to have, you know, you might get 40, 50 kits out of a single rabbit in a year. And, you know, so it's a numbers game. The more that you're breeding, the more you're raising, the more these things have the potential to happen. And we just have to do the best that we can, accepting that, you know, I don't care what you raise, chickens, rabbits, goats, cows, goats, God, they're real divas. There's always the potential there for having to deal and play vet and play nursemaid and do the best you can. But we're going to keep on with these guys, give them back to their mom, see how things go, and hope for better things next week when the 2 champagne to argent does kindle. So thanks for watching. Sorry it wasn't great news today, but better things ahead.